Right to that fierce fallout from President Trump's summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Protests at the White House overnight and the backlash growing this morning. George is still there in Helsinki. He's tracking it all for us again this morning. Good morning, George.
Good morning, guys. Robin, that meeting between President Trump and President Putin spanned about 4 hours yesterday afternoon here in Helsinki. It may have been the most fateful 4 hours of the Trump presidency to date. Take a look at what happened yesterday. Vladimir Putin committed an act of war against the United States, cyber warfare against our elections. We saw President Trump by his side, taking Vladimir Putin's side. Nothing like that has ever happened before. It is unlikely ever to happen with an American president. Again, as you said, the backlash is already growing. Democrats using words like traitorous, talking about impeachment, openly speculating whether the president has been compromised by the Russian president. You're also seeing, while most Republicans are holding ranks, some of the harshest criticism yet from Republicans, even the president's closest allies saying this was a serious mistake that has to be fixed. I'm here with Terry Moran, who was inside the room yesterday during that press conference. And as it went on and on, Terry, the president dug deeper.
He dug deeper, and his aides, actually, I think, were looking at their feet and up at the ceiling because it was difficult to watch, as you say, something an American president had never done before. And today, the world is reckoning with it. This summit like no other, as George points out. People are wondering not so much what was done, because not much what was done, but what was said. And here's a sample of the world reaction right here in Helsinki. Trump 0, Putin 1, as President Putin presents President Trump with a soccer ball. And I think a lot of people in the world would say it was an own goal.
Just a few hours after a press conference that stunned the world and dismayed American allies, President Trump stood his ground and stood by Vladimir Putin in an interview with Fox News.
First of all, he said there was no collusion whatsoever. I guess he said as strongly as you can say it. I thought that President Putin was very, very strong.
The president said the summit was a success and that talk of special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation just gets in the way.
I thought it was a really amazing time. Not about that. I think it's a shame. We're talking about nuclear proliferation. We're talking about Syria and humanitarian aid. We're talking about all of these different things, and we get questions on the witch hunt.
And Putin is making headlines this morning, too, denying again that Russia has ever interfered with U.S. elections. It was a scene that many Americans will not soon forget. On the global stage, Putin standing right there, and President Trump just shying away from holding him accountable for Russia's attack on U.S. elections.
Do you hold Russia at all accountable for anything in particular?
Yes, I do. I hold both countries responsible. I think that the United States has been foolish. I think we've all been foolish. I think that the probe is a disaster for our country. I think it's kept us apart. It's kept us separated. There was no collusion at all. Everybody knows it.
The president was asked to choose. Who does he believe, Putin or his own intelligence agencies?
I have President Putin. He just said it's not Russia. I will say this. I don't see any reason why it would be. So I have great confidence in my intelligence people. But I will tell you that President Putin was extremely strong and powerful in his denial today.
And for Putin, a question about blackmail.
Does the Russian government have any compromising material on President Trump or his family?
I heard about that we had allegedly collected compromising materials on Mr. Trump when he came to Moscow. Respected colleagues, when Mr. Trump came to Moscow, I didn't even know that he was there. And Putin was asked point blank.
President Putin, did you want President Trump to win the election?
Yes, I did. Yes, he said. I wanted him to win because he was talking about the normalization of Russo-American relations. Moments after the press conference concluded, an onslaught of stinging reactions to President Trump's performance, many from his own party.
What the president said today is not accurate.
The president's comments made us look as a nation more like a pushover.
One of the president's staunchest allies, former Speaker of the House Newt Gingrich, imploring Trump to clarify his statements in Helsinki on our intelligence system and Putin. It is the most serious mistake of his presidency and must be corrected immediately. And even from the president's favorite cable news channel, this sharp rebuke.
That's what made his performance disgusting. I'm sorry, just the only way I feel. It's not a right or left thing to me. It's just wrong.
Even his former Homeland Security advisor pushing back.
I've seen that intelligence. I believe it, and I've concluded that there was Russian meddling, and there's overwhelming evidence of such.
The shockwaves extending across the globe. One British headline reads, Putin's poodle. But back home, the president has at least one lawmaker in his corner, Senator Rand Paul, calling the blowback Trump derangement syndrome from the left.
I think this really shows people hatred for President Trump more than anything.
Paul used to be the ultimate outlier.
That cascade of reaction, most of it negative, came while President Trump was flying back to the United States. He can watch television on board Air Force One. He was, and getting angrier and angrier, we hear. Aides afraid to go up to the front of the plane. And the irony here, George, is that he came to this city to make a new start in U.S.-Russia relations. There's a lot of business to do, but his subservient performance may have set that goal back.
Yeah, we've only seen one tweet from the president so far since the summit saying he trusts the intelligence agencies, but he's going to have to say more coming out of that. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.